Setting up live. Yes, I think we're streaming live on FB now. So, friends, thank you so much for according so much love to the first part, and your love only, and a special request from a few of you, including the one member from my paid group. Uh, this part has been extended now to part two. So, this is the series I have been taking on Zoom in August and September for the benefit of my colleagues. Unfortunately, the attendance does not justify it that much. But never mind, our work is to do our duty and let the audience take its call of wherever they are. So, accordingly, yes, we got a very good response on YouTube. People have been complaining that yes, they have not been able to join live, but not an issue. So, just say, just sharing my screen, and before I do, we'll go in the exactly the same sequence it was there last time. So, is my screen visible? Is my screen visible? Dr. Vanna, Dr. Rajat, you can unmute yourself and let me know is the screen visible, and so that I can start.
Yes, sir. You're audible as well as visible.
Okay, great. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. Okay. Friends, welcome to the second part of the presentation we took up on new clinic guidelines or considerations, points to take up before we start our new clinic. So this has been the endeavor to go about this task. So Rajat gave an excellent presentation in the part one. He'll be there too today as well. So again, all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty, who's given me much more than what I deserve. So this is my brief biodata. You all are aware of it. So this is say Zoom session number 12, part 2 of the new clinic considerations. We'll be taking up again the points to be thought of when opening the new clinic, and along with renovation tips for old clinics when you are moving out or when you are changing the place, whatever best we can, we'll try to cover in this. So a clinic is always say practice is a sojourn kind of a thing for anyone who is into practice, and we discussed many things in part one. That is why I say told everyone who was willing to join part two that kindly watch part one before you join in. Of course, uh, many of you could not see part one live, but then many of you saw it on YouTube, and accordingly you let me know. So we discussed it in last issue also, because people actually start killing sometimes as a backup. It might be an experiment, or it might be just before marriage, to actually look upon that you are a prospering guy, and then maybe you plan to go abroad. As I gave you an example of my friend Prabpreet Singh Kala, who actually wanted to start a new clinic before he went abroad. So then we have to understand that I covered that also, that we are actually say doing too many tasks in our practice as a CEO of our practice. So we need to understand that it is a wrong approach to just look at the other aspects, that we are just the in charge of our clinic, whereas we are not. We are say donning various hats, and we have to understand that it is like having a baby. I told you a pregnancy might be over in 7 to 9 months in last say part one, but a clinic sometimes will not settle in that much amount of time. So it is like a baby, needs to be nurtured and needs to have a lot of undivided attention, at least in your clinic hours. Yes, emergencies aside, other problems aside, but you need to really actually show it. So a responsibility is like a responsibility, and I believe discipline is always say it has to be in a way that we do it with full dedication. So I mentioned last time also, you have to be madly in love with your profession, and the first commitment is that you have to run any clinic for 5 to 10 years. You have to give it a long rope. You can't say give it a go in 1 year, 6 months that nahi mera clinic to chal nahi raha hai. You ought to point out the mistakes where you are doing, and you have to be ready for a failure as well, because sometimes, as I mentioned, success will not come overnight. Few people of us might be lucky, but not all of us. So it is a full-time thing which we have to say keep in mind, and we really need to keep in mind that there might be really no patients at the start. I mentioned those 10 aspects, including the first aspect was mental aspect. You have to be very tough, and you have to be start whenever you're ready, only mentally first. And if there are no patients, you don't have to worry. This happens with everyone, almost everyone. Some people have a good start, some people have a decent start, some people might have a slow start. But does not mean running a clinic is like a marathon. You need not say start with full throttle. It might be a very slow, decent jog. So, but the only thing is you have to put in your full time, and you don't have any shortcuts for that. So as I mentioned, there might be a few questions last time. For today's presentation, the first question is, are you confident about running the skill clinic with your skills you possess? I'm talking about the dental skills here. As I mentioned in the last presentation, there might be many other skills required apart from financial, other say literary skills, other than that, the lawful areas which you need to remember, and other ones. But let's stick to our dentistry now, because this is the one which actually carries a major weight. Communication, yes, is a big aspect in this, but still I will say 80% of your say clinic part will include your basic primary dentistry skills. Yes, apart from dental, as I mentioned, the patient management skills, soft skills of the communication skills, your financial management, and yes, your acumen to walk on the ethical part as accorded by the Dental Council of India guidelines. You have to say, remember that part. So you need to be super confident about the treatments you render, because if you are best in whatever you do, and then only you can say convince your patients with a strong mind or a strong say tongue, I may say so. But then this is the time also to actually accept that which treatments you are not good at, and you might need consultant for that, or a visiting dentist for that. Again, there was a short aspect I mentioned in last, doing a SWOT analysis. You might not be best at everything, you might not be perfect at everything, you might not need to do everything as well. So you need to delegate properly. So this is the say, we all need to realize that कुछ चीज़ों में हम लोग perfect नहीं होंगे, जहाँ गलतियाँ करते हैं we have to understand and do the things accordingly. So always opening a new clinic is like a big exercise, and assessment according to SWOT, what are your strengths, and then we choose the location. Believe me, strength goes a long way in choosing your location. And let me give you a few issues vis-a-vis location. As I mentioned, I'll be taking up this part. Again, the major headings I am going to cover, of course, along with the main headings today, are the budget, the location, the size, and the budgeting. Of course, there was some overlap in the last presentation about these, but let me give you, say, proper guideline about location. So demographic composition, what is your patient strata composed of in your area? I mentioned these are the data which is luckily in these days available with the local counselors. You can get of the say hint of that, what your business or what your say target patients are likely to include. They might be business class, they might be say housewife, they might be a working salaried class. So accordingly you have to decide what actually say is your primary target group. And then a few other things: the space accessibility to the patients, how easily your clinic is accessible to the patients. And believe me, in the metros or the tier 1 differs a lot from tier 2 and tier 3 these days. And in a way, tier 1 people or metro people will feel that maybe they are unlucky in one sense, that they actually say have a lot of competition uh, than the tier 2 or tier 3 ones. But I can vouch for it that you guys are more lucky than us, because the number one thing in that is that you can't open up clinics in societies, or say on first floor, second floor, or third floor, as is possible in metros. These are not possible in tier 2, tier 3 most of the time. Especially if I come from a tier 2 city, I can tell you there are many clinics in on first floor. And apart from a couple I know, not many of them are running well, because again, I don't know whether the location is the prime reason or the dentist skills are the primary reason. But yes, the patient mindset has to vary. So in a way, metro people are lucky. You can't expect a clinic to be in a society in a tier 2 city in my town. So then parking issues. Parking is a big say nemesis for any of any of the clinic. Then emergency care facilities. God forbid anything bad happens, which is the closest hospital to your clinic. That is one of the big factors you have to take care. Then competition, of course. This is the fourth aspect of the competition. Is the only thing we actually look at out of all these five aspects I mentioned. And lastly, the target patient group, as I mentioned, we need to do that. We only look what is the number of dentists already practicing in an area, and we choose the one which is the say having less or say the least number of dentists. I was the second in my area in year 2000, but today we are almost 20 guys in our area in 1.5 square kilometer area. So we all are flourishing. Obviously, I'm not really bothered about everyone, but at least I am flourishing. People around me are having a good OPD. So why do I need to look at other people? So the problem is that we all need to take care of these all aspects. Even if you're moving out, even if you're renovating, even if you're relocating to a bigger space, you need to look out for these areas. And of course, for the new beginners as well. The problem is that we just look at the competition part. So the location becomes a prime concern for all of us. And opening, as I say, opening clinic seems like a wool at the start, but it turns out to be the outer shell of coconut sometimes, which rarely opens up itself. We really have to strike hard to open up. And the only thing is that whenever you see the location, you should be completely and passively convinced about it. It should not be always dependent upon the competition and thriving in your area. So if the clinic at the start is on a rental basis, again, this applies to both the new setups or the ones who are relocating to a bigger setup or renovating to a bigger setup, maybe in the adjoining area. So if the clinic is on rental basis, the main question is that will you be able to commence, because you need to put in some amount of interior decoration, if I may say so. Uh, you need to put in that. So, but the rental begins actually uh, from the first day itself, and it is not dependent upon what actually you are say lacking in or in your area, in that sense that once you finish up, because some renovations I've taken even in just my vicinity, three shops opened up just before lockdown in July, August, and October last year. But the rental started from the day they started doing the renovation, or the say interior renovation, interior decoration part. Just the adjoining shop is a nail and a say hair beauty parlor. Just opened up on 31st October, 4 days, 3 days after Diwali, and the owner gave them a space which was roughly, if I may say so, 75 in depth, and around 20 plus 20, around 20 or so, or 18 or so in front. My clinic front is 15 by 75, and obviously the full plot is 75 by 30, so mine is a half plot. So even that was 60/40. So might be 75/18. So the owner gave them the plastered walls and the flooring done, except the tiles and the roof lenter as well. So what they had to get done was of course, the fall ceiling, which is a very common fashion these days. And the owner said, my budget for the tiles is this much amount. And if you're going in for say wooden tiles or any luxurious tiles or any high-end tiles, you can pay for that yourself, subtracting the amount. I'll pay the difference of what my budget is. Obviously, he couldn't get the flooring done because there were many connections to be made. Believe me, electrical and plumbing connections for anywhere, wherever water and electricity are involved, are the most important. So the tile work should be almost the last one, just before the paint, of course. uh, but people do the reverse. They actually pick up the tiles first. So remember, this is a time when and they have an option that what they do is that they get the electric fitting done under the false ceiling. Again, a personal choice. You still can get that done in false ceiling, but you can't actually do the plumbing work or the water work or the waste work in the false ceiling. For that, you have to do it in the say flooring part only. So if you can pay for the rental right from the day you commence your contract or you commence your if I may say so, interior decoration, then you have to pick up on that part. Some owners might be very kind on you, but if it is not there, you have to be on your toes to achieve the same. Then location, as I mentioned, sorry, in bigger cities, the clinic should be on a 100 feet road, and following 80 feet, 60 feet, and again a 45 feet are the lowest ones which I recommend. But yes, a big concern is always financial considerations, because otherwise you can say in metros you can get lost out in the say narrow lanes, or say those zones where you can't actually have a full vehicle access as well. So the most important thing is that there should be a landmark extremely close by, so that you don't get lost in the crowd, because that is one thing we actually know that it needs to be. Then good parking, as I said, is a big. Parking woes are almost everywhere, and central landmark always necessary. And the approach should be simplistic. Remember, whenever you have to say if the clinic is not exactly on the outer way, you have to make a Google map for that as well. Then high rent is always a better option. If the location and the standard of living of the people of the area is good, then it is a better than rather than a bad say low rent, where you are actually having a bad location and you lead to say you getting desperate, or you crib, or you criticize dentistry. Remember, it is your initial choice which has made all the difference. So big cities, as we say, have space, parking, and many other bylaws as well. Society bylaws are separately there, but they are lucky, as I said, they can be opened on different floors in a building, and they are acceptable to the patient mentality as well, because they know it is a thing. I remember I going in the first clinic I went inside was Dr. Prasad Joshi's clinic in 2004 and 5 in Pune. It was in camp near railway station, and my implant training first module was there only. It was in a society going on, I think, at the sixth or the fifth floor, if I remember correctly. So I never thought that the clinic would be in a society till then, because it was my say first experience with a metropolitan clinic visit, and it was a new thing for me. And again, the rent varies from floor to floor in big cities, and the main thing is the patient acceptance. The patients actually understand the limitation of space in bigger cities or tier one cities, but then it is on you in which floor your clinic would be most located. Of course, all these societies have a lift along with that, and the culture in tier one, tier two cities is such that people live in flats, live in those areas where actually they know it. Why location is good to be understood? Let me just throw a little bit of light. A prosthodontic dentist may be best on ground floor, considering most of the patients may be senile in those cases. Of course, not all. A pediodontist may be on first or second floor, where there might be a bigger area for kids which are playing. And if you are an oral surgeon and near school, it might not be the best place for you. You should be in the best of the market area. So mall, maybe a say industry, or and so on. So these things again, they vary from individual to individual, the mindset, and of course the city's presence. So remember, people will always have something to say. लोग कुछ तो कहेंगे, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Stand tall on the bricks what people throw at you, and they might be discouraging comments, other people's opinions, negative criticism, blame. There might be any, but if you trust yourself, back your skills, remember, sky is the limit for you, and you can stand tall. So let's forget bigger cities for a minute. Come to cities like me, tier 2, tier 3. In smaller to medium cities, people always prefer a clinic on a ground floor because, again, the mindset is different. We don't live in flats in tier 2 city. Ludhiana, I can give example of my town. It is, say, size wise, number 22nd city, and population wise, we are number 17th in India. Literacy rate of 85%, but according to the last census, 845 is the male female sex ratio, of course on the lower side in Punjab and Haryana, but this is as per 2011 census, and of course 2021 census might be postponed due to COVID, but I'm sure these figures are going to drastically change, since the mindset of people has changed vis-a-vis a boy and a girl as a progeny. So people are used to living in kothis, or say big houses, and even in a 200 to 250 yard, you can build a good big kothi. This is the culture in North India. We actually hate to live in flats. A mindset of a typical Punjabi is ना छत मेरी ना जमीन मेरी, मैं हवा में लटक रहा हूँ और मैं किराया फुल दे रहा हूँ तुमसे ज्यादा. That is the mindset people actually used to say translate for people who live in big cities, even their own relatives or even their own kids. So my uncle, my mamaji used to live very close by, just about half a kilometer from my place, in a separate block. I live in B block. He lived in E block. Just opposite, across my road is B block, E block. Sorry. So he shifted 6 7 years back to his son in Gurgaon. So he's working. He's an anesthetist. He's working in, my cousin. He's working in Sir Gangaram Hospital, Delhi. So, but he traveled from, say, his wife is working in a close hospital nearby. She's a gynec. But this is the word my mami ji used, कि एक छोटे से कुनबे में कैद होके बैठे हैं in a flat kind of a thing, because we are used to living in a big house. But then people don't, what I just try to convey to is that people don't actually get the mindset of a clinic on a first floor or on a, that side. Again, things are changing. We have we do have some clinics in shopping malls as well, but we have not in malls but in shopping complexes. So just a couple of them, but one of them actually vacated that very, say, recently, just before COVID. So people rarely have it on first floor. And again, as I said, I don't know whether it was their internal marketing or whether it was their skills which led them to, say, closure or not running clinics running well. But then I always believe that it will depends upon the treating doctor as well, and his way of working, and of course his skills, and not necessarily the floor alone. Yes, it might be a contributory part, but if you have a lift to aid you, it might be a different mindset. So you need to actually really plan well. So I call my town as a medium level town or a tier 2 city. There is a nothing called as a commercial road. I remember in 90s, of course, there was no Google, but I'm surprised to even know, my Nanaji told me, late grandfather told me this thing, that my colony, BRS Nagar, was Asia's biggest residential colony. Yes, it is a big enough colony, but to be Asia's biggest colony is something which I didn't actually fathom at that time. But yes, if he was saying, he might be correct, because he was a, say, storehouse of general knowledge for me. And in here, you can't actually open up your clinic or a commercial thing in a residential colony unless there is a CLU, which we call as a change of land use. So only commercial areas are allowed, and the biggest ones, the BRS Nagar, the Saraba Nagar, the Mall Town, these are the three biggest defaulters. So if I just talk about, opened up my clinic in the adjoining lane, the first lane of, just on the backside of my current clinic. I shifted here in 2003. So this road had, it is a 60 feet road. So it had 10 to 15 shops total on that 1 kilometer stretch on one side. And if I talk about the other side, 3 kilometer stretch, there were 20 to 25 shops. So this is the total number of shops, and that include all the shops, shoe shops, kirana shops, or the say uh, other ones of daily necessities, if you count all those. But in 2004 and 5, the corporation sensed this thing, and they sent all of us notices, and that matter is pending in say matters pending in Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court. And because we all were given notices that you can't allow your this thing, but then I sent them a ruling. It was a Delhi High Court ruling that doctors are allowed to say function in even in residential area if they are not having a nursing home or if they are not having any admission. You can run your OPD in that. So this was the say one doing that. So remember, I told you 10 to 15 on one side, 20 to 25 on one side, roughly 45 or 40 or 35 or 40 approximately. But by 2004 or 5, there are around 98 shopkeepers. And the case is pending. And that didn't include doctors or dentists like me, because we don't come under the Shop Act in Punjab. We don't have a gumasta number. We don't have a say form F to be filled up before we go in for any renewal or any shop license, if I may say so. So all those were there. The problem is that if the decision comes out the other way, all the shops have to be closed, because residential colony can't have shops. So this is one legal aspect you need to know really well. Then why I am mentioning these things is because corporation bylaws don't permit any road less than 100 feet wide to be declared commercial. And this is applicable in most states of India. Unless the road is 100 feet wide, you can't turn commercial. And it happens here because the time you say start a construction, the MC inspectors come in, and they actually keep on roaming around and keep on looking for wherever there is say any kind of say construction material lying, and they ring the bell and call the owner. फिर शुरू होती है bribery की game, and that is what is actually happening over here. And when this bribery thing happens, nothing goes into the pocket of the corporation. It goes in their hand only. Just like demonetization I mentioned, कि आपने नोट चेंज तो करा लिया लेकिन रहे ब्लैक के ब्लैक ही. So yeah, but there has been a law which has been at least applicable in Punjab, that if your area is 80% commercial, the CLU will come into effect, the change of land use. फिर वो चाहे 45 feet road हो, 60 feet road हो, 80 feet road हो, then the CLU applies, and then the corporation earns. Change of land use का मतलब होता है residential और commercial की costing में फर्क होता है, and then you have to pay per square yard what is the fees applicable, and then you can earn the corporation can earn big bucks. So and my area presently, I was talking of 2005 and 98 shopkeepers are there. If I say there are say 800 or sorry 500 houses on the road total, both sides included, in BR Nagar, more than 90% are actually say presently have broken their drawing rooms which are on the outer side and converted them into a shop. So and all of them had paid. Even recently I got my I uploaded a map in one of the images of my clinic just before this presentation in last one. I'll share the 3D of that today. But just as I was into say the renovation part, I started on 12th of December 2018, and first Jan or second Jan 2019 they were there at my place. Say you can't keep a stair like this, you can't do it this thing like this. I said I'm not extending my clinic, it is the same. So again, the bylaws there in cities like me, you have to keep certain area vacant at the back and at the front, and the minimum is the 10 feet. But again, even if the road is turned commercial, it is by the ruling of the High Court, Punjab and Haryana High Court, that you have to ensure, say, good parking facility. So location-wise, whichever area you select, remember, uh, you also I mentioned in last presentation also, you have to find out the existing say dentistry levels. Of course, you can go to you visit a few colleagues, good or bad, whatever way you want, name or fame wise, and you see what all armamentarium we have. Obviously you won't tell them to show them, everybody will mind that doing that. Of course some might agree to do to show you everything, but then broadly show, see what all they are having, what is their structure. For that you need to have really have eagle eyes. You need to know what is their thought process when you talk to them, what is their ethics awareness, or what are other factors. Of course, ethics has been thrust upon by biomedical waste authorities. You really have to indulge in those things, and there might be many other factors which come handy in running a clinic, that I mentioned in say last presentation as well. So the local area counselor can be the best judge to accord you the data about what is the service class, business class, housewives, or what is the proportion of population you are treating. The broad idea is to get, say, inkling of what exactly is the paying capacity of your target population, and accordingly, you have to say invest in your clinic. That is the bottom line of all this exercise. The problem is, unfortunately, we don't look at all these factors. We just look at number of dentists कितने हैं, तो वो कितना कमा रहे हैं. We just rely on the grapevine, जिसको rumor mongers या अफवाह भी बोलते हैं हम लोग. So you need to really look into all these factors, which are maybe small, but they come a lot handy. Then do check out the average rent in that area, which you have finalized, and whether you can pay the rent for 6 months, even if you have no patients. Again, the emergency fund, which may talk about, and the other things, which are anyways handy as well, if you look at in another way. So the financial independence part comes actively involved in this. So you can understand why I have been say shouting literally on the say on your heads about financial independence, and my presentations go all together. You can't leave finance out of practice management, however hard you may try. So the main point is that you will have a lot of difficulties unless CLU is done, and these roads will have huge parking woes as well. I just have one parking slot outside my clinic, and since the lockdown, my second car is standing on that side. Of course, the other car belongs to my wife, that is inside. But because because of the constant you may say lockdown or the containment zone being declared, the gate of our colony was being closed. So I shifted my car to this side, and it is there ever since then, almost 6 months. So commercial road, having a clinic over there will always help, even if you are a skilled clinician. I have so many examples where actually people have struggled, who have say good skills but a poor location. Location will not always be helpful, but yes, having a good location will always be helpful. You can take it the other way around. Then liaison with shopkeepers is always helpful. You have contact. I mentioned in the contacts part in the last presentation those 10 aspects, because the word travels through shopkeepers very fast. And whatever we can say, many methods of marketing are there. Word of mouth, although is conventional, but will still be the best tool. The another harsh reality in bigger cities, if I may say so, in today's unsafe times, for kids, for women, whatever we can say, still we are not fully safe in our Indian population. People really don't know their next door neighbor and his occupation. So when you talk, don't talk to people around you. You can't be say doing a recommendation or say giving a reference for you. But in this aspect, a suburban or a tier two or a rural place are doing still better, because people are still connected. Even if I talk about my lane, the just the backside my clinic or my house entry side, it is the lane. People still come out in winters and actually say sit on their chairs or their say manjis and their wooden carts, they say, and talk out it with themselves. And this might be a old folklore, you can say, that people did this thing, but this thing still happens in winters in my say area, even though it might be tier 2 city in a say one of the poshest colony. So I showed you a map. This was actually the 3D design of the outer elevation of my clinic. So which I actually say started upon in December 2018. Unfortunately, I forgot to put in the old say setup in this. I should have, because then only you would have been able to better say able to differentiate. And trust me, almost just about this part of the gate, we just extended this wall proportionately till here, and this window we just made a wall and till here. Rest everything is almost the same, including the tile color. Luckily, the say these you may say the gray tiles or the dark gray tiles are the outer elevation, are the plus and minus tiles. and these are also in the same way, and exactly the same way you can actually see the elevation has been built. Of course, if I may, my clinic had been having the old look from outside, even though it was modern from the inside. So, at this stage of point, let's hear from Dr. Rajat from some other insight before I say come back again for the final 12:20 again today. So I stop my share here. Uh, so, Rajat, do you have slides, or can I? Should I share my own?
Sir, please help me with
Sure,
yours.
sure, no worries, no worries.
And today I'm going to be fast and I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to take a lot of time like last time. A lot of ladies were, I assume, very unhappy because they had to cook and they were late because of me. Nevertheless, without wasting any time,
Just a minute.
so to add on to the location that you've already mentioned, I would want to share one of my problems that I faced when I came into this premise. This is a rental premise. We are on the ground floor. Like you said, the prosthodontist should be on the ground floor. On the first floor, we have a restaurant, and on the in the basement we have the car park, and we have the waste disposal over there for the MCC to collect. So when we came into this premise, we did not know what are the challenges that we will have to face. So initially, after doing everything that was supposed to be done, all the partitions, false ceiling, everything, my smallest mistake was there is only one exhaust fan which is in the restroom, and I did not cover it up with a mesh. Such a small thing. In the washroom, I did not cover it with a mesh. Because of that, for the next 2 months, I had rat menace in my clinic. Imagine that. A dental clinic like mine, and we have a rat menace. Because of which, I eventually found out that because of the pest control person, I found out that is the exit and entry. And they're very smart. Rats are very smart because it's a high window. It's a very high, on almost at the ceiling level, but somehow they could climb. So another suggestion from my side is please look into the pest control and get it done every month, because it's very important that our clinic is actually sterilized and disinfected, not only to show it to the patients, but in reality, because we are also prone to all these infections. We are also humans. That is one point done. Next, I would want you to always check for battery backup. That is very important. Again, I have burnt my hands. When we came into this rental premise, we had the generator and it was split into two people, me and the next door neighbor's shop. That's a salon. The problem was that some of the other times we used to always have discrepancies, whether you have refueled or we have refueled, whose turn is it, and we don't have customers, why are you switching it on? So that is one aspect, that you may want the owner to give you something separate, or you may want to indulge in something and invest in something which is separate. You have the option for a generator. According to me, generator is better because it can actually give you a lot of power supply, even to support the compressor. In the long run, I assume, it's my calculation, it turns out to be a better investment. But there are inverters also. Although the problem with the inverter is that you will have to have a very big, huge area, because you need to keep a lot of batteries. So in the long run, inverter may turn out to be slightly cost effective, but I prefer generator. Like I said, I run all my 6 ACs, all the 3, 4 compressors, chairs, everything on that, and I have no problem. But yes, the recurrent cost of the diesel is the only problem that I have to deal with. That's done. Another thing that I learned at the third month of my clinic starting was, imagine this, I'm doing an all-on-6 case, it's evening time, and boom, there is a power cut. We don't have an auto switch, so generator does not switch on automatically. Somebody has to go down physically, and it takes approximately up to 120 to 150 seconds, let us say 2 minutes, to switch on the generator, the entire thing. I am placing my third implant. The entire clinic is dark at 7 o'clock. Complete, because we did not have inverters. I did not invest in inverter even today. So we only were dependent on generator. And that is the time my father gave me an idea. There is something called as an inverter bulb. So we fixed one inverter bulb in all the operatories. In case, especially in the evening, if there is a power cut, those bulbs will be switched on when you come in the morning. So they are getting charged. As soon as there is a power cut, automatically the bulb will be on. Other lights will be off. At least that bulb will be on. And because of this, many a times I have controlled and halted any untowards incidents, because I could see, I could remove the aorta or whatever from the patient's mouth. So that is very inexpensive, but it's very important. Done. Another aspect is you need to have registers or probably some other better method of calculating and keeping a track of staff salary that is being paid, staff attendance. You may go in for a biometrics or you may go in for a register. So they have to sign everywhere and everything and keep an account of everything with a countersign by the staff so that later on there is no legal implications because staff, uh, they have a union and they can get you into trouble. I would just want to say that and restrict that. It's a very wide and vast topic. We can discuss that for another day. But all these people, they have a union and you can be in big trouble if you don't take care of situations. Another thing that I've learned from Dr. Bhavdi sir, every earning of my clinic goes to my current account, which is in a bank, and I have a savings account in another bank. At the end of the month, as a business owner, I see what is my savings, what is my profit. I pay all the bills. I want to pay all the bills maximum by third. I don't want to pay anything beyond fourth. So third or fourth is my cutoff limit. And then the clinic owner me pays a salary to the prosthodontist me. I repeat, as a clinic owner, I divert my role, the salary or whatever I've decided to my savings account. And I behave as if I'm two people. And you have to do that because if you keep spending, like I've learned from Bhavdi sir, if you keep spending from current account thinking, yeah, this is my money, then there's no limit to it. You'll be broke very soon. So please have two different accounts and do not never overlap between both of them. One has to be something extremely separate and the other one is for your personal expenses. Next point, internal marketing. I have seen a lot of my colleagues committing a small mistake. Gruesome photographs are put up. It's not gruesome for us. Imagine the situation. I watch videos on YouTube wherein we can see saliva, blood, bone being fractured, and I'm enjoying my lunch. We are used to it. A common person, a layman, cannot see this. They will vomit. My patient, my friends have vomited. It is extremely gruesome to them. Opening someone's mouth and seeing inside for a layman can be gruesome. Imagine that, such a small thing, such a simple thing. What is it? It is a bread and butter. We do that every day. But for them, it's gruesome. So internal marketing, when I say this, do not put up any photographs where the mouth is open or blood is seen or all these things. I'm sorry. What a colleague will appreciate, a patient will not. You may show me 28 crowns. What a full mouth rehabilitation you've done. Fantastic job. Inside of a tooth for the root canal, I found 5 canals. It was so black, it became white, and I've obturated. For a colleague, it is good, not for the patient. Patient only wants to see smiling faces. So always try that for internal marketing, you put up smiling faces. What I have learned over the years is, when I have some extremely good cases wherein the patient is extremely happy, me or my wife, we stand next to them, we click photograph, and then this is framed and put up in the walkway or the reception or somewhere. So they see us with different patients and they're all smiling. And we write where are they from, which country, which city, or wherever they are from. So that also entertains and impresses new patients that they have international clients and they're all happy. There are happy people over here, happy faces over there. That being done. Apart from internal marketing, give them something to discuss you when they go back home. I repeat, after returning home, they should discuss you, but in a positive manner. So what we do is we give written post-operative instructions. Initially, when I had to build a name for myself, we used to print our photograph on one end, my photograph on the other, and my wife's photograph in the middle, logo and clinic name. And then we used to give laser post-operative instructions mainly. And then we started giving post-operative instructions for every treatment. And this is a small paper that we print and we hand it over to the patient. And we always tell them, this is something we do day in and day out. We will always remember. You can forget. So in the middle of the night, when you forget which medicine to take, what is the instruction to follow, please refer to this. Patients are extremely happy with this. Please be ready with all these formats even before you start the practice, not after starting the practice. From very first day, if you do this, you will have a lot of patients walking in very soon to you. Informed consents, please be ready with Dr. Bhavdi's lectures and all the information that he's been studying for such a long time. Informed consents are, they can build and break you. As simple as that. You can be doomed if you don't have that. Simple as that. That's the simplest thing I can tell you. You need to hear the video, and you have to be in constant touch with him, learn from him, and that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 3-4 years. Written informed consent is the backbone for your future, for your career. You cannot compromise with that. You need to be ready even before you start with the clinic. CCTV, this is again good for you to keep an eye on your staff. This is good for you to keep an eye on your gesticulations and posture. And legally, it is very important. Nowadays, a small DVD writer along with 8 cameras or something that I have invested in approximately 2.5 years ago was 20,000 rupees, a meager 20,000 rupees. So I have 8 cameras everywhere. So accordingly, according to your space, according to your requirements, how many cameras you want. I'm just giving you an example that by and large speaking, for a mediocre clinic like mine, up to 8 cameras is the upper limit. You may not require something more than that. So 20,000 rupees one-time investment saving you forever is the best thing. And try and always go in for audio and video, because most of the times a lot of legal point being raised is that we can see the hand gesticulations, we don't know what is being spoken, and that can go in the favor of the patient when they try to sue you. So video and audio is a very good thing. Next is, I have seen some patients, colleagues, they at the reception keep an album. These albums have before and after the treatment photographs. Again, these are smiling photographs, like if I've given a crown. So there is a smiling photograph of the patient with a bad looking tooth or an old crown. And next to that, I've written before. Below that, I've put the same patient's photograph, face photograph, after proper documentation and written consent from the patient that I can show the face. And then the new crown and how I have improved the smile. So this could be mainly what I suggested in 2 formats. Either you can have an album at the reception, which the patients can see, or again, you can have photographs of such things and put it up in different spheres of your clinic so that it is easily seen by your patients. Another aspect is, last time I told you that inventory, the consumables, initially it should be as low as possible. But what I probably forgot to inform you was, please search for online deals. There are a lot of online platforms. When I say deals, I'm not saying take 1, you get 2 free. I'm not going for that. I'm just saying look for something that is genuine and that is economical and easily available to you online. But at the same time, do not rely 100% on online, because when you're stuck, when you have an emergency, when you need something in a jiffy, the local dealer will always help you. So what my formula is, sir, I'm learning your language. My formula, I'm saying, approximately, I make a list of my indent. Approximately 20 to 25% of those consumables I will invariably order from my local dealer, even if he's charging me 10, 15, 20 rupees extra. As an example, when I buy hand files online, I can get it in the range of 180 to 220 for a pack, generally speaking, depending upon company. My local dealer will supply at the rate of 250 to 260 rupees. And that is fine, because this is small money. Whenever I am stuck, whenever I'm in an urgent need, he's always there to help me out. He's always there. So make a balance over there. Don't depend upon online completely. Sir always has emphasized and has always taught, at least me and many other people, regular update and upgrades. See, anything that is monotonous becomes very boring. So when there are changes in the clinic, changes in you, changes in your work of style, this will be noticed by old patients because they have seen all the old pattern. Not the new patients, they will not know. For them, this is the new normal. So that is the baseline. That is how you are. Regular update and regular upgrades are immensely important, and you need to plan it out. Like sir has taught me, you need to plan it out for the next 1 year, not just for a month. So what I initially, before meeting sir, what I initially used to do was from my profits. I'm not saying earning. I'm saying my profits. 15 to 20% of my profit every month was always invested back into the clinic. Now, there are two ways. If I'm going for something big, like I've recently bought a microscope, so I waited for 2 months and then I invested in that. I accumulated 2 months of that 15 to 20% that formula that I've given you. Prior to that, I had bought a small thing like a small handpiece that I wanted an extra handpiece. So it's completely up to you, depending upon what you are trying to invest in. You need to accumulate funds. If you're planning to buy something small, then yes, your monthly profits should take care. But if you're planning to buy something big, then keep aside these monthly profits. Don't spend them. Don't be extra happy. Oh, I have so much of money. Let's go for a picnic. Let's go for a weekend. No, this money is dedicated and dedicatedly kept aside for something that you have a short term objective. Do not confuse all these things. This profit is not to be touched other than grave emergency, because this is dedicated towards something that you've already planned for, and that is very important. Patients notice all these things. Even the smallest. First year, we did not have uniforms for our staff member. Second year, we started with uniform for our staff member, approximately second year, after 8 months of my first year, I would say. Patients were immediately impressed by that. Imagine how small that is. It's a very small step, but patients were immensely happy with that. Patients notice everything. Another aspect is patient data. I cannot overemphasize on this part. Patient data. Data, probably we will have a World War III because of data. That's how important data is in today's world. Every company, everybody wants data, your phone number, your email, everything they want. So right from day one, when you're planning your clinic, you need to plan it out. How will you collect, preserve, and use the patient data? That's immensely important. You could go in for an Excel sheet to form all this. You could write it down. But in my review, because I've seen all those things, you cannot use this data in the long term. My suggestion, you may agree, you may disagree, that's up to you. My suggestion is a online and offline patient software management. Any software, there are free softwares as well. Of course, they come with the cloud, will help you a lot, because patient who has taken a treatment from you, and if he or she is happy, is a lot of good work, publicity, long-term earnings for you. It's a big catch. Every patient, even if it's for a scaling, it's a big catch. Don't lose on that. Don't let that go. Location, sir, has already emphasized a lot. I would only want to add 1 or 2 points to that. When it's a personal opinion, when I was searching for a location, I wanted something wherein I don't have to travel for hours together. Like sir said, metropolitan cities and I am in a tier 2, tier 3 city. So when I compare Bangalore traffic, traveling approximately 5 kilometers would take me 1 hour. Imagine 1 hour early in the morning, and there is a rush. I will not be in a state of mind that I can perform something cosmetically excellent. So the time taken to reach the clinic and reach back home when you return in the night shouldn't be so much. 1.5 hours is not what you're looking at. So that's one part of it. Another thing, you need to be 100% convinced with the location. If you're not convinced with the location, everything else will be overshadowed. Sir has already taken into details. I'm not going into the details of that. Don't look at, I am sharing my personal experience. I had the opportunity, and I've informed sir prior, I had the opportunity of traveling approximately 1 hour, comparatively old looking building, first floor clinic. My rent would be only 15,000-20,000 rupees. And I'm talking about those days, 4 years ago. And the current location, this is a prettier looking location, ground floor clinic. Because of the area, because of everything, my initial rent was 50,000-55,000 rupees, plus including the maintenance and all those things. It was a very big sum for me, and I was scared. I was literally scared. I had the same doubt that sir is explaining right now. Will I be able to take care? And that's exactly when I took the leap of faith, because I could. I had my parents' financial support. I had my finances in place. I knew that even if I don't have any cases, which is impossible, But if I don't have any cases for the next 3-4 months, I'm sorry, sir, I did not plan for 6 months. I planned for only 3-4 months those days. I can still pay the rent. And that is the mindset I had at that given point in time. But I knew that I am completely confident about my work. I know I can excel. I will give the best of the treatments to the best of my abilities and marketing. I cannot overemphasize. It was because of marketing that my clinic, I could say, stabilized earlier than I had expected it. Last point from my side, always have checklists for everything. That is because I'm a very lazy person. I'm a very forgetful person. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. That's how forgetful I am. So having checklists always help. Whenever we have this new staff member coming in, the old staff member will give a checklist to the new staff member that tomorrow morning when you come, step by step, you have to follow all these things. You have to supervise whether the maid has swept, mopped, everything. All these things are clean. Even the glasses are clean or not. Every small detail is a checklist. You have to just keep checking, and at the end, you have to sign because you're the one who supervised. Similarly, I keep a checklist for composites. I've been doing composites for approximately 15 to 18 years. I still have a checklist, and the checklist is taken care by my staff. Whenever I'm etching, she will tick mark. One staff will tick mark. Etching done. Wash done. Air dry done. Bonding agent done. Then they will write which is the shade. If there are multiple shades, they will write multiple shades used in this. The tooth number, patient name, that everything is in. Everything is in a checklist format. I don't want to forget because if you have seen Sir's lecture on a webinar on medical legal aspect, it is one mistake that can break your entire career, your fame, your name that you want. Just one mistake. A checklist like this is very simple to have, very easy to have, and it just ensures that even if you're absent-minded, because sometimes we have personal problems, we are not well, you can commit a mistake. Checklist always ensures that mistake can never happen. With that, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rajat, for wonderful insights. I'm stopping my share here, and I'll start my share. And just give me a moment, please. Okay, I hope the screen is visible. Thank you, Rajat, for wonderful insights into you do all things meticulously. I know that, and it has been a proud privilege knowing you and sharing the dice with you. Of course, when we plan for a new clinic, the size becomes paramount in many aspects. So let's have a look at the size before I come at the budgeting and the 12-20 formula once again. So the primary, again, the starting point, we discussed some part in last session. I am also of the similar opinion as Rajat that yes, for a startup, unless it is a say real space constraint, you need to have a two-chair setup. But yes, wherever there is, you have to make a decision. Always err on the higher side in this case. Don't go for up to three chairs. Rajat gave an example of three-chair setup in the last say episode as well. But for a starter, I always say encourage in today's times a two-chair setup, or else keep if budget is a constraint for you, space is not. Do keep a say scope for future expansion, and that will include the electrical and the plumbing work and the waste drainage work along with when you do the first part, unless you are actually say planning to relocate to a bigger space in a few years time, as it happened to me. I've shared the story last time. The first clinic happened by accident, the second happened even by a bigger accident. So it was an adjoining plot just at the backside of my house. The owner was behind us even before the opening of the first clinic since 1998 or 99, ever since I came from my college. he was behind my dad. ये पिछला property ले लो ले लो ले लो. The only reason was that there were two shopkeepers sitting in that, and they were not ready to vacate it. So yeah, in those times, if I'm talking of 98, 99, 99, those were cheap times in terms of property or money wise, if I may speak so. The whole 250-yard plot was available at say less than 25 lakhs. 10,000 per yard was the rate at that time, which is throwaway price. And in today's time, if I talk about that, so he talked to both of them. The both of those shopkeepers were not ready to vacate it, and the main reason was that one of them was running a kirana shop, one of them was running a say a wholesale factory, a kind of a godown where he actually supplies paracetamol. Till date, he is there, uh, and he actually what the owner did was he split the plot into two parts, and he asked before both of them. The one who was supplying paracetamol actually say agreed to buy half of it, and he bought half of it at roughly say 15 lakhs or so, and at the rate of if I remember correctly around about that amount only, maybe 12 11 and a half thousand per. And you get to pay, you got to pay something on in those days. बने हुए की कीमत बोलते हैं ना, बना हुआ कीमत है, आजकल उल्टा है. Whenever you buy a plot, अगर बना हुआ हो तो आपको मलबे की कीमत देनी पड़ती है for breaking that plot. So then he came to us that अब हाफ बिक गया, आपका हाफ अभी भी लगता है आपके साथ exactly back to back side. So if you are you interested in taking the half, he knew the best bet would come from us only. And the only condition we placed है अब दूसरा शॉपकीपर उठाओ, तभी हम लेंगे. So that went on till say for the next 2 years, 2001, 2002, before actually the shopkeeper vacated that, and we bought it in July 2002. And my dad was always under this thing that the clinic should be on the main road, and you should actually say look at into it. I said, Dad, private practice वैसे नहीं करने का शौक, जब आपने खोलने को दे दिया, शाम को एंजॉय करना था वो भी आपने बंद कर दिया. टाइम 4:30 से 7:30 क्लिनिक में बैठना पड़ता है. तो करता हूँ काम मैं, यस डेडिकेशन से करता हूँ, पर मेरा टाइम तो चला गया ना. एनीवेज, bought that plot, started constructing that. In those 6 months I actually planned everything. We didn't hire an architect, as I mentioned. The outer part was almost the similar one, except for the stair part. We removed the stair from inside, and placed a round iron stair from outside the round say staircase, assessing the first floor. And everything inside was planned by me at that time. And I still feel surprised how could I plan electrical and plumbing connections which are going fine even till date, touch wood, that they didn't happen anything to them in those say regard. And the expansion scope was there, kept at that time as well for the second chair. And then again, a bada clinic, a chota clinic, future expansion, that depends upon your own confidence on your own skill set, on your say uh, on your uh, on your own abilities, if I may say so. So if you choose an area which is upscale, but middle class will actually, again, the target group comes handy in this. The middle class will find that if a clinic is more than say lavish looking, ये अंदर शायद इन्होंने दुकान इतनी बड़ी बनाई है, रेट बहुत ज्यादा रखे होंगे. So that is the mindset. So that is why I say there are many factors which you look at into it. The primary factor is always the target group. So don't invest heavy in aesthetics in high-end equipment for the first year at least, unless you gauge the response, and then you can maybe decide for say a heavy investment. But then if you are good at something, you must start a practice where you are there by colleagues, so that you become a reference, a retreatment point. Again, it is all about knowing your S from the SWOT. And patients who come for retreatment hardly actually bargain when they have been actually given a reference to do, because they will always have something good things to say about you, because you are handling and treating them well. Yes, if you are really doing that. So initially, you may have less number of cases, but they will be your trophies if you become a recenter or retreatment center. So people will have a reason for you to visit again. Again, it can be anything extra that you're offering. Can be aesthetic, can be implants, can be root canal, whatever you can say is your practice adjourn. So budgeting I've taken up in the queries part also last time. Again, you need to have a clear mind, clear say heart, if I can say, again backed by a proper planning. And the minimum level treatment apart from the interiors, needs about 8 to 10 lakhs with a minimalistic interior also included. You need minimum 8 to 10 lakhs for starting a middle level clinic in today's time. Yes, for higher end, the sky is the limit, but you will actually have an idea of where the budget might land if you actually do about it. I gave you an example of the nail and the hair parlor, just one shop across to me, which opened up on 31st October. बिलीव मी सब कुछ बना हुआ था सिवाय फ्लोरिंग के. ऑफकोर्स फ्लोर भी पक्का करके दिया था उन्होंने, सिर्फ टाइल्स नहीं लगी थी. एवरीथिंग डन, ऑल वाटर कनेक्शंस, main connections done, electricity main connections done, of course internal wiring. And if I can talk of them what they spent upon the interior renovation, they said 27-28 lakhs, and I was shocked. फिर बात वही आ जाती है कि कहाँ पे पैसा लगा, वो दिखना भी चाहिए. That is the only thing. I started my construction in house in 2017. The architect gave me an estimate 7 to 8 months, 7 to 8 lakhs. Believe me, one side took almost 1 year. Of course, there were few mishaps in the family. My bua expired. A couple of another known relative also expired in 2018, and that first part of renovation took around 15 lakhs, almost close to 15. Then 2019 second part, the front elevation and the immediate top floor, first floor portion, again the same, it was included in that estimate. Still some work is left inside. The outer elevation is complete, but again that has already crossed about 14 lakhs plus, again 1 year. सो अगर किसी को मैं बताऊं 15 प्लस 14 29 या 30 लाख लग गया, बोलते कहाँ लगा, दिखाओ. The such is the expense related to today's time. So you have to be really say aware of the costing price as well. Do not live in your dreams that what you bought 5 years ago is at the same price. Everything is getting sky high. So let me give you again the 12-20 formula. I gave you a few budgeting tips in the first part on budgeting and finance, about how to go about the loan part and other things. So again, giving you 12 and 20 again, apply and implement them honestly, and because they can be a guiding lights for today. So let's have a look at them. So the first thing is, you don't have to worry about your clinic location from dental lab, bus stand, or a train station, unless you want to start an economical clinic. You're not really bothered about. People will not be, especially if you are in a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. For tier 1, maybe a bus stand or a train station may be a concern sometimes, but not for a tier 2 or tier 3. In bigger cities, with all say big eating joints and other 150 shops, opening in a commercial complex will not be a good idea, because you will get lost in the crowd. So number 3, a mall is preferred over shopping complex in bigger cities, because shopping complex is equal to middle class and lower class for most of the people in bigger towns. Then shopping complexes have small shops without any known brands, and that might be good for a modest clinic, but there will be no window shopping involved. You can be assured of that. Then if you start your clinic next to a gold jewelry shop, you can become a landmark. The gold jewelry shop will be famous one for the ladies especially, and the people who have spent thrifty, and your clinic becomes a landmark. The landmark for my clinic is just opposite Gurdwara E Block. It might be a religious place, but yes, it is a good landmark to have. Then for a startup, we do need to have a referrals, again for a painless takeoff. It is painful to sit idle for initial period. However well prepared you are, for your setup. So again, in the beginning, the patients will have to be attracted for your work skills. जितना मर्जी हो, जब तक काम करके नहीं दिखाओगे तो पेशेंट को पता कैसे लगेगा. Again, it has to be coupled. Rajat also mentioned last time, we do need to do some part of external marketing. Of course, we are now allowed ethically and legally by DCI as well. Of course, when we don't cross the line. And of course, once those things are done, the word of mouth of the conventional part takes over. So continuing further. So I always believe myself that 15 to 18% of Indian population is middle class, but they are the ones where the most Indian clinics have their bread and butter from. I've seen people walking in my clinic in Mercedes, and they didn't. They claimed that they didn't have even the consultation fee to pay. And I'm talking of the very initial days of practice when I was charging 100 or 150 for a consultation fee. Maybe they didn't have the ability to pay that. So it doesn't mean that the current, I'm not treating the VIPs. The current, say, MP of Ludhiana is my patient, who has been twice elected MP from my town. Then the Coke service head is my patient, and apart from many other big shots in my areas. So these are just a few examples. But then it is a frightening concept that 15 to 18% is feeding the 80% of the dentists of India. Again, I will say the Pareta's rule at its work. You can't really escape 80-20 from your life. So people who actually still keep on struggling after 5 years, I always say differentiating factor is not there. I mentioned in last episode also, you have to define your USP. You have to take out one, say, standout factor. Uh, Again, the Chandni Chowk to China 2009 Bollywood film dialogue. मुझे तुम्हारी उन 10,000 मूव से कोई खतरा नहीं है जिसकी प्रैक्टिस तुमने एक बार है की है, लेकिन मुझे तुम्हारी उस एक मूव से खतरा है जिसकी प्रैक्टिस तुमने 10,000 बार की. Carve out your own niche, stand out from the crowd, be different. That is the only way to actually succeed. So our profession is known as practice only because we do a task repeatedly over and over again. And if you believe that आप में कुछ special नहीं है, I gave you an example of mine also last time. Till 2007, I used to say partially stammer in my life. I started lecturing in 2007 on different topics to overcome my, say, handicap or hiccup. Then I could not. I started writing as late as say 2013 or 14. Before that, I had written a few articles in international journals. Of course, I'm myself surprised because it was a, say, study done by me in college that was published in Asian Dentist and APDN and its seven sister concern. APDN is the Asia Pacific Dental News, along with Brazil Dental News, CIS Dental News, Poland Dental News, and seven sister concerns all over the world. It was published in 2002, along with a few in FamDent, along with another journal. And apart from that, I didn't have any publication. And then I used to write a few columns in newspapers on current topics that might have been, say, handy. But full-fledged writing I started after 2013-14. I didn't know that I could write such long articles, such long publications. So remember, you have to search your souls. You have to search out. You are definitely having something good in you. I can bet you on that. भगवान ने किसी को खाली नहीं भेजा है. कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा आर्ट डाल के भेजा है जिसमें you excel more than anyone else. You just need to search out that part. I wanted to be a speaker because of my handicap. I could not. I'm trying my best in these days. So I wanted to be a good writer. Then again, I'm trying my best. I've rarely seen one who can speak well but write well also, and vice versa as well. So I'm trying for my next step is to try for that. So again, improving is always a continuous thing which should happen with everyone. There have been few conventional terms: jack of all, master of none. I believe these things don't exist anymore. The contemporary or today's approach is master of few. But the $1 million question always will be, how do you know what works the best in your area? How you identify कि आपके target group को क्या पसंद है? Then the only thing is, if you are a champion, let people know through your work, rather than कि आप अपने गीत गाएं, हमने तो इतने पेशेंट ठीक कर दिए, हमने ये कर दिया. Yes, before and after come handy in that part, but remember, there is a very thin line between over exaggerating or, say, self adulation or showcasing your talent. There is a very thin line between the two. I always believe your work should do the wonders for you, rather than you singing your tunes again. It should be an information part and not the over exaggerated adulation part. Then for a beginner, Rajat also mentioned it. I have been, say, shouting all over your, say, high heads that documenting, recording your cases is actually one thing which goes a long way, especially when placed at a prominent place on display. Again, a big no to the gruesome or the blood work. Even the, say, Facebook has started covering over the blood shots, if you know it from many colleagues. It might be good for our colleagues, as Rajat mentioned, but it is not good for patients. It is sometimes very distracting. One of my staff members worked with me for 9 years, and the reason he mentioned to me when he wanted to leave was, मैं कुछ और करना चाहता हूँ. I'm not unhappy with the salary. We played cricket even together in one team. Such was our equation. Yes, at workplace we were like a boss and a, say, junior or employee, but at a cricket place we used to play cricket together. Even till date he comes to me whenever he wants to. He is a gym instructor now. So he wanted to actually say change his line, and his other excuse was मेरे को ब्लड नहीं देखा जाता, मैंने बहुत साल निकाल लिए, पर मैं ब्लड जिस दिन बहुत ज़्यादा देख लेता हूँ मेरे से घर जाके खाना नहीं खाया जाता. And that is exactly Rajat also told. It might be normal for us, but then you have to say put across your target group, identifying your target group, and then putting your work across. Do the internal marketing, do the talking, because unless you do it, you will not actually say come to a conclusion. So the before or after cases are a part of your record keeping as well. Again, that was the internal marketing part. The external marketing of the same on your website, along with good testimonials, good reviews, and these will actually say people will always believe that word of mouth. And those testimonials and Google reviews do carry a good reputation in today's times, and people do value a lot. And the only thing is that these should come from the paying public rather than you actually singing tunes about your say songs, whatever you do. You can do that, but sometimes we do over exaggerate or say cross on say on the heavier side if we do that. So I think you are beginning to have a feeling of eureka after these 12. Let me come to the final 20 tips. Thank you, Rajat, for your carry home points. Let me give mine to you, and I can vouch that these are practical ones. As Rajat also said, only if you listen with an open mind. Just try to believe that these are the ones which actually say are going to pay a long word. And these tips are again for opening practice, renovation, for relocation, for maintenance. All those four aspects are included at it. It depends upon what way you look at it or what way you want to look at it. Before I say take up the queries, then we discussed last time also, the clinic stationery has to be standardized. The logo branding say everywhere it should be a constant one. Your logo, your say clinic font size, even on your pad, on your giveaways, on your mugs, on your say uh, 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 on your literature, any in any side, all those things have to be standardized and go. You have to do a lot of planning. You can't keep on changing those things ever. I had a different logo in the first 3 years. Once I shifted to new premises where I'm currently sitting, I say rather I'm currently sitting in the third place. This is an extended version of where I'm sitting. This was the, if I you can see, this was the dividing wall or the separating point or the say entrance of my clinic, the exactly this wall. So where I'm sitting is the extended area. It is extended by 3.5 feet ever since the front elevation took place. So then plan your renovation or your interior setups on weekends, unless it is a big one, and always go into say this task with a lot of homework done, all your things done, plumber, electrician, टाइल वाला, पेंट वाला, जो भी आपने लगाना है. Of course टाइल paint one can't be along with these guys, but you have to remember, if you can see at the back, up to say 4.5 feet, there are tiles actually on my walls of the clinic. It looks like a mesh or a PVC, but this is actually a tile. This is a matrix pattern. It was famous. I got them done in 2007-8. uh, this was because my clinic used to have a lot of sealant, silab as we call them in Punjabi, lot of sealant. I tried every damn thing in the first 4 years of my clinic from 2003 to 2007, but nothing worked. uh, पुट्टी हर तरह की लगवा के देख ली, जेके से देके बिरला तक सबकी लगवा के देख ली, but it used to peel off and say give out a very bad odor. The smell was really bad. So the final solution was to put, and remember those walls were 9 inches thick, double wall, two brick wall, and these were artificial walls in the separation. As I said, it is a plot with the say separate जो बाद में अलग किया गया 250 गज को 125 yards में convert किया गया, because the owner wanted to sell it separately. And at that point I bought it at 18 lakhs and 40,000 at 12,500 per square yard. uh, in those times people said you bought it a tad say 1 lakh or so extra. 18 lakh 40,000 in 6 months time. The same price was in December 2002, it was say 18,000. And now since 2014 or 15, the main road pricing is more than 1 lakh 10,000 per yard. And if I'm sitting in 12 lakh, दिल बहलाने को ख्याल अच्छा है कि मैं 1 करोड़ की जगह पे बैठा हूँ, but I'm not going to sell this place and go anywhere so that I can yield that 1 crore. But then that is a different proposition altogether. Sitting in your own place is very good, but look out for these small things which can be a permanent this thing. There is a format. If I show you just in a different way, maybe my laptop will not be. There's a contrast. It is a 2 feet of a sky blue color followed by 1 feet of a dark blue or a navy color. And my clinic say color, all the patterns are in shades of blue. I have more than 16 shades of blue in my clinic, from right from sky blue to dark blue to navy blue. So this is one color theme you have to really work for. Then if it is a short renovation, always plan all the things with the guys, sit up with them, have a written plan it on weekends so that your patients are not discomfort. And when you are planning to take a Saturday off, you're planning to keep a renovation on 2 days for a small work, remember, start informing your patients at least 6 to 7 days in advance. And even somebody calls up, plan in that way. Then have a margin for expansion, space and shuffling. I keep on doing that every 3 months. Many people who know me, I'm very fond of shuffling. It just induces a bit of freshness in my clinic. It makes me actually work on my. I've recently, since the past 3 Sundays, I've been working on the lighting of my clinic. So I have been really say not very happy with the lighting of late. Uh, but yes, I have improved a lot, and the patients have also noticed this change. So these are small little things, you keep on doing it. My clinic has a space for doing that, and I keep on shuffling or keep on, of course not the chair of course, but I have a scope for a third chair as well, done at that time only again in 2002. And I have a scope for shuffling my chair also in a different direction, even if the vastu expert says so. And that is the way the plumbing and the electrical work has been done. And this is actually to igniting spice, to bring some change. When it becomes monotonous for the patients also, for you also. So curtain and blinds, I always call them internal marketing tools. Curtain blinds, keep on changing them every 2 to 5 years. This is not a big investment. Of course, it all depends upon you. And I believe that internal marketing is the best investment. Again, this is one way to induce freshness in the clinic, that people know that you actually invest on your clinic, investing on your workspace. Uh, Always keep light colored blinds and curtains. Do not keep dark ones or heavy ones. Then if you want to apply for anything that you do specially, or even for your say logo or this thing, as Rajat also mentioned in last time, trademark or patent, you should actually say know about that part. The gumasta number, whenever you want to apply for trademark, it'll have actually, it'll be needing to say IDs for your clinic, because most of the time it will have on clinic. My clinic way of working, as my dad guided me, everything is in my name. Even my biomedical license, even every billing done for my clinic is in my name. So that way is even a current account, I still have a clinic's current account, but it doesn't make any difference otherwise also, and financially also. But for any patent or one, you need to say IDs. In Punjab, we don't have a Gumasta number. So for us, we have a MC, or the Municipal Corporation Form F, which will be needed to renew for the patent part. And the second ID can be your bank account if open up in the in that regard. So if you're going in for that, in some states you might be needing it. So renovation, I'm sorry. So if your renovation say not on, sorry, the weekend word is wrongly written over here. So if you are planning in a way that sorry, a bigger renovation in your clinic, you need to actually say plan in a way that you start spreading the message about it in few days time. Install, sorry, just a moment, sorry, the screen sharing is stopped. Okay, start planning it from 6 months onwards, wherever you want to go about it, about this task. Then I mentioned about the color part. Don't let come clinic as a painful place. Always keep a light colored paint, because this will come a long way in changing your clinic aspect and clinic say in patient's mind. Light colors are always soothing to your mind. And if you're wanting to shift or say relocate to some other place this if you want to go in for renovation, if you're relocating to another place or shifting to another place this kind of a thing in your clinic, so that the patients know about it for 6 months. that these things are there. I'm sorry, this renovation written over here, it plain means if you wanted to shift somewhere, you can start telling your clients or your patients 6 months in advance. If you're doing that, then I always say a washroom is a must for every clinic. Believe me, you might have a, if you have a space constraint, that is a separate issue. For those who can afford it, this comes a lot handy. Does not always have to go. I have my residence attached with my, say, clinic. I can afford a washroom over there as well if somebody is not living over there. But yes, that is an encroachment upon privacy. But if I talk of the normal sense, this one thing will come in handy so many times in your practice. I can tell you, a separate sterilization area is a must for every clinic. You can't do the cleaning part, you can't do the, say, blood removal part in clinic. I understand it is very difficult for people who are actually having smaller size clinics, but it is a must according to me. A separate x-ray area, you can have it if you're planning again for expansion space, maybe a OPG or maybe a CBCT later on. If you can do, you should plan for a separate x-ray area. Some hospitals or say even dental units even still do in nursing homes. They have a separate to ward of radiation. They have a separate room with those guidelines. Then cleanliness is one thing which has to be a constant. Old clinic or a new clinic or a renovated one. Then always have a theme or concept on a clinic walls, a theme based one, a implant based one, a pedo one. If you can't have a concept on your clinic walls, use patient education material. So mine was a latter one, so I have lots and lots of patient education material on my clinic walls. So you can see one at the back side as well. So there are so many in my clinic, and again, it is a personal choice. Some people want to adore with paintings. I am not against it, but I feel that we should say uh, promote those things which we are doing in our practice. It can be a dentistry based theme as well. So a smile always must on everyone's face in your clinic, be it associate, be it say assistant. It has to be a constant one. Then, as I said, cleanliness is a constant. Don't dust in any corners. If you're a male, let your wife. If your wife is a dentist, she will be visiting. She'll be taking care of this aspect. But if she is not, make her visit the clinic uh, and make her say look into the corners where we can't see. The men especially can't see. Look out in the corners. These are very distracting. You can always say sit on the chair, on your dental chair, like a patient, and say do all those, say, pinpointing of mistakes or noting down of mistakes. Then Rajat also mentioned about the exhaust thing. Aeration and ventilation are a prime concern. Believe me, these are the tips. We didn't discuss what points he's writing. I had my own point, but the thinking matches somehow. Aeration and ventilation should always be the prime concern. And yes, of course, COVID has made it all the more necessary. Then portable trolleys, especially if space allows, especially for the surgical work. And furniture check, dry cleaning or wash timely the clinic or office furniture. You need to actually say have a look at it. Keep doing that, always doing that. Then, as I mentioned, try sitting on the chair like a patient. And mistakes point out करें lavishly, गलतियां निकालें. But remember, blame is not to be given entirely to your staff. This is one thing you have to keep in mind, that staff की गलती नहीं होगी. They only will do what you have told them. If it is not seen, it is not a mistake in some people's purview. So स्टरलाइजेशन में एक बहुत कॉमन वर्ड यूज होता है, इफ इट इज नॉट क्लीन इट विल नॉट बी स्टरलाइज्ड. So remember, cleanliness of the, say, 1 2 3 stages of washing before sterilization or autoclaving is mandatory. In a similar way, if the staff has not been delegated about it, you can rest be assured that it is not their mistake. So believe in yourself. Lastly, believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. And that is the carry home point for today. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. A couple of announcements before I stop my share for the queries in the chat box or from you. So this is my YouTube channel. You all know it. I am posting regular videos. This video will be there tomorrow. If you want to rewatch, it is there on my page as well. So this is my email and website if you want to get in touch with me. So the next session is tentatively tomorrow, hopefully. And this is on a very vital topic needed for dentists. stress management for the dentist, simple and easy way. And again, like Rajat, I'll be having a star speaker along with me tomorrow as well. So this was supposed to be the last session. Again, the today's session became a bonus session. So tentative, I want to keep say part one of basics on either Friday or Saturday. That would be the last session for this season. I'm not sure. This is still a temporary one, a tentative one. So this is basics part 5. If you can attend, or if I'm able to make the presentation, I'll be doing that. So remember, uh, this is all about involvement. First, I had star speaker Dr. Vandana Dhimeja, then Dr. Rajat Anand in 2 installments as star speaker, and now there will be a surprise third speaker as well for tomorrow if we go on board tomorrow. So please send me your valuable feedback. That is one thing I always yearn for. Honest, true blue feedback coming from you. Anyways, bouquets or brickbats, all would be welcome in equal measure and in the respective WhatsApp groups wherever you are, surely. So thank you so much. And it is the question time. And I stop my share actually. So you can unmute yourself. I'm just changing the settings. You can unmute yourselves. If anybody wants to ask, let me just check the chat box. There were a few questions, I guess, in the start. Okay. Dr. Sandeep Thakkar, welcome to today. So Galaxy M31, I'm not sure about the name, but Galaxy M31 is how to divert our patients from old clinic to new. I already covered that in the presentation. Keep informing those patients 6 months priorly. Again, for all those things, planning planning goes a long way. Unless you plan really well, you can't let the patient presume. Just ask yourself. I've been telling about you about the sessions. I mentioned the instructions. Please ask for the link in the personal window. Still people ask me, sir, link kahan pe milega? Then another thing, I place the link in the group, especially in my paid group. A few people ask me, sir, please send us the link also. They didn't open the group only. Then just look at this scenario that I'm mentioning the date and the time, and along with the day, Friday, this date, this thing. Sunday, somebody calls me up, sends me a message, sir, iska link bhejiye, please. I want to join the Zoom. I tell them, sorry, you are 48 hours late. So ask yourself, if you can commit mistakes, why do you expect the patients to be smart as well? So I'm not saying these are your blunders, but this can be mistake, which can happen with everyone. So, okay. Can a dentist run a clinic even in a residential area if it is only daycare center? Any government rules for same? Dr. Anshul, I mentioned it at the start only. When I mentioned the 2004-5, we actually say had a case going on in the Punjab Haryana High Court. We gave them a Delhi High Court ruling, which is there. Doctor or a dentist or anyone can run a clinic in a residential area as well, unless he's say doing a admission or running a nursing home. Admissions are not allowed unless there is a CLU. I took up a lot of detail in that. I think you were busy in doing your patients in between maybe. So anyways, that is on the lighter side. So yes, you can do that, but diagnostic centers or ultrasounds are not even allowed in a residential area as per the law. But unless the change of land use happens, if the road is declared commercial, you can do that. So thank you, Dr. Archana. Thank you, Dr. Zahra. Which area is more preferable, residential or corporate area? So apart from the mentioned tips by you for selection of location, I mentioned Dr. Nopur. I mentioned, of course, commercial will have say its advantages where you are visible. So just go through the presentation again. I've taken up this part in the presentation also. So okay, these are the queries from the chat. Anyone wants to ask anything, you can unmute yourself and ask me, or me or Rajat, anyone, if you can, or we call it a day. We're almost on time today, not much late as expected.
Sir,
Yes.
to that question, how do we inform the patient that we are relocating? I just want to add something.
Yeah, sure.
You've already explained.
Go ahead.
Like I said, the data, the patient data that we have. I have a software You may have your website, you may have your own application. You have all the information on that, the patient data. It can be email, it can be a phone number. You can send a message through that, and that will stay for a very long time. Another aspect, patient data utilization for internal marketing. I strongly suggest contact all your patients once a month, like a small tinkle. It's a reminder that you are present, you are still working, and they can always come back to you and they remember your presence. So that is another point by which you can inform and also ensure that they remember that you are relocating to another place and where you are.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rajat, for your input. But yes, along with that, I believe that your office stationery, as I mentioned about your mentioning office stationery or giveaways to children, if you are indulging in those, they can serve as a reminder for your, say, internal marketing as well. They do come in handy. A mug or a souvenir or a kind of a, say, tooth box, small collection, or even your denture boxes for your senile patients. They can also come in as handy for that. So this is one thing you really need to look into part. But the problem with all of us or most of us is that we still do not indulge in record keeping, which is mandatory ever since the DCI guidelines 2014 came up. And maintaining records comes under the unethical category. And it is 2020, almost ending of 2020, and we actually say need to know about it. Okay, Dr. Jimit asks, is it a good idea to involve a physiotherapist or any other medical practitioner in odd timings when we are in working, like in the afternoon slots, where they can have a small working area with minimal equipments? It all depends upon your, say, area, space, and your, say, revenue turnover. If the revenue is handsome, and if the, say, clutter is not much, go for it. If not, you have to, say, think about this thing very seriously. The only aspect is that we sometimes have to think in other aspects, that our expansion, what are your timings of the clinic? You might be expanding to those hours maybe in future. It will not be easy to remove that practitioner from that slot. So think and plan if you can go about that task, or you have any don't no other plans. So as in my area, my hours of working are 9 to 1 and 4 to 8, but eventually I end up on 1:30 or 2 most of the time whenever the season is on. And in summers, sometimes from 8 to 9, even if I try my best not to do so. This again non-COVID times I'm talking. So I know that 2 to 4, I'm will 99% of the time I will not have any patient. So this is identification of your target group in your population. So go about that task, think about it, and then plan accordingly. Okay. Any more queries, or we call it a day? Okay, thank you so much for being here. Please do post your feedback in your respective WhatsApp groups wherever you are. I'll be really, say, happy to receive whatever genuine or true blue feedback you are willing to give to me. So till we meet again tomorrow, 7:30, hopefully, and uh, for another session, stress management for the dentist. Thank you so much.